everyone, time to read Roald Dahl, our author, The Witch is our title, and Quentin Blake is our illustrator, the person who draws the picture. Okay, I'm really excited for this chapter because we get to meet Bruno Jenkins, and he disappears because it says Bruno Jenkins disappears. I wonder how he's going to disappear. The Grand High Witch was starting to talk again. I am now going to prove to you, she said, that this recipe is working to perfection. You understand, of course, that you can set the alarm clock to go off at any time you like. It does not have to be 9 o'clock. So yesterday, I am personally preparing a small quantity of magic formula in order to give you a public demonstration. But I am making one small change to the recipe. Before I am roasting the alarm clock, I am setting it to go off not at 9 o'clock the next morning, but at 3:30 the next afternoon, which means 3:30 this afternoon, and that, she said, glancing at her wristwatch, is precisely 7 minutes' time. The audience of witches was listening intently. That means they were really, really listening. Put my hood up. My hair's very wet. No, I'm lost my place. Sensing that something dramatic was going to happen. So what am I doing yesterday with this magic liquid? Asked the Grand High Witch. I will tell you what I'm doing. I am putting one droplet of it in a very squishy chocolate bar, and I am giving this bar to a repulsive, smelly little boy who is hanging round the lobby of the hotel. The Grand High Witch paused. The audience remained silent, waiting for her to go on. I watched this repulsive little brute gobbling up the squishy bar of chocolate, and when he had finished, I said to him, "Was that good?" He said it was great. So I said, "Would you like some more?" And he said, "Yes." So I said, "I will give you 6 more chocolate bars like that if you will meet me in the ballroom of this hotel at 3:25 tomorrow afternoon." 6 bars, cried the greedy swine. Swine is a pig. I'll be there. You bet I'll be there. So the stage is set, shouted the Grand High Witch. The proof of the pudding is about to begin. Do not forget that before I am roasting the alarm clock yesterday, I am setting it for 3:30 today. It is now, she glanced again at her watch. It is now exactly 25 minutes past 3. The nasty little stinker who will be turning into a mouse in 5 minutes' time should be at this very moment standing outside the doors. And by gum, she was absolutely right. The boy, whoever he might be, was already rattling the door handle and banging on the door with his fist. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Better. Quick, she shrieked, the Grand High Witch. Put on your wigs! Put on your gloves! Put on your shoes! There was a great rustle and bustle of putting on wigs and gloves and shoes, and I saw the Grand High Witch herself reach for her face mask and put it on over that revolting face of hers. It was astonishing how that mask transformed her. All of a sudden, she once again became a rather pretty young lady. "Let me in!" came the boy's voice from behind the doors. "Where are those chocolate bars you promised me? I'm here to collect them. Dish them out." "He is not only smelly, he is also greedy," said the Grand High Witch. "Remove the chains from the doors and let him come in." The extraordinary thing about the mask was that its lips moved quite naturally when she spoke. You really couldn't see it was a mask at all. One of the witches leapt to her feet and unfastened the chains. She opened 2 huge doors. Then I heard her saying, "Why, hello, little man. How lovely to see you. They're letting Bruno in. Their wigs back on and their gloves back on and their shoes back on. You have come for your chocolate bars, have you not? They are all ready for you. Do come in. A small boy wearing a white t-shirt and grey shorts and gym shoes entered the room. I recognised him at once. He was called Bruno Jenkins and he was staying in the hotel with his parents. I didn't care for him. That means he didn't really like him. He was one of those boys who is always eating something whenever you meet him. Meet him in the hotel lobby and he is stuffing sponge cake into his mouth. Pass him in the corridors and he is fishing potato crisps out of a bag by the fistful. Catch sight of him in the hotel garden and he is wolfing down a dairy milk bar and has 2 more sticking out of his trouser pocket. What's more, Bruno never stopped boasting, showing off, about how his father made more money than my father and that they owned 3 cars. Which is a bit sad because the boy's father's dead and Bruno keeps showing off. But worse than that, yesterday morning I had found him kneeling on the flagstones of the hotel terrace with a magnifying glass in his hand. Oh, what do you think he's doing with a magnifying glass outside? Don't know if you know that this happens. There was a column of ants, that means like a line of ants, marching across one of the flagstones like a paving stone. And Bruno Jenkins was focusing the sun through his magnifying glass and roasting the ants one by one. Because if you get a magnifying glass, because of it makes everything more direct. So the sun comes on the magnifying glass, it focuses the light and it burns so you can set things alight. So if you put a piece of paper there and held it in the sun, you could set it alight. And what he's doing is he's setting the ants alight, Bruno. Which isn't very nice. Poor ants. I like watching them burn, he said. That's horrible, I cried. Stop doing it. Let's see you stop me, he said. At that point, I had pushed him with all my might and he had crashed sideways to the flagstones. His magnifying glass had splintered into many pieces and he had leapt up shrieking, My father is going to get you for this! Then he had run off, presumably to find his wealthy dad. Wealthy means rich. That was the last time I had seen Bruno Jenkins, until now. I doubted very much that he was about to be turned into a mouse, although I must confess that I was secretly hoping it might happen. Because if he's not very nice, the boy doesn't mind if Bruno gets turned into a mouse. Either way, I didn't envy him. I wasn't jealous of him for being up there in front of all those witches. Darling boy, cooed the Grand High Witch. Coo is like what you do when you're trying to get round someone, when you're trying to make them like you, or trying to be nice. So you might coo at a baby. Oh, you cute little baby, you're so cute. That would be me cooing at a baby. So she's calling him darling boy. She's making him feel, oh, darling boy. Oh, you're so lovely. When she doesn't really think that. I have your chocolates all ready for you. Do come up here first and say hello to these lovely ladies. Her voice was quite different now. It was soft and gentle and absolutely dripping with syrup, meaning it was sweet. Her voice is very sweet. She's being really nice to him. Bruno was looking a bit bewildered. Bewildered means confused. And he allowed himself to be led up onto the platform where he stood beside the Grand High Witch and said, Okay, where are my 6 bars of chocolate? I saw the witch who had let him in quietly put the chain back on the door handle. Bruno didn't notice this. He was too busy asking for his chocolate. The time is now 1 minute before 3:30, announced the Grand High Witch. What the heck's going on? Bruno asked. He wasn't frightened, but he wasn't looking exactly comfortable either. What is this? He said. Give me my chocolate! 30 seconds to go, cried the Grand High Witch, gripping Bruno by the arm. Bruno shook himself clear and stared at her. She stared back at him, smiling with the lips of her mask. Every witch in the audience was staring at Bruno. 25 seconds, cried the Grand High Witch. Give me the chocolate! shouted Bruno, becoming suddenly suspicious. That means he knows something's going on. If you're suspicious, you suspect something. You think there's something bad going on. Or something good, but you know something is going on that everyone knows and maybe you don't. Because you could be suspicious that you're going to have, that people are planning a birthday party. That's a good thing that's going on, but you're suspicious that people are planning it. You're getting wisps that things are going on, you know? Give me the chocolate and let me out of here. 15 seconds, cried the Grand High Witch. Will one of you crazy punks kindly tell me what this is all about? Shouted Bruno. 10 seconds, cried the Grand High Witch. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition. Ignition, you light the fire. It started. I could have sworn I heard an alarm clock ringing. I saw Bruno jump up. He jumped as though someone had stuck a hat pin deep into his bottom. Like a pin. And he yelled, "Ow!" He jumped so high that he landed on a small table up there on the stage, and he started hopping about on the top of the table, waving his arms and yelling his head off. Then suddenly he became silent. His whole body stiffened. The alarm has gone off, screeched the Grand High Witch. The mouse maker is beginning to work. She started hopping about on the platform and clapping her gloved hands together. Then she shouted out, "This smelly brat, this filthy scum, this horrid little louse will very soon become a lovely little mouse." Oh, it rhymes. Louse and mouse are rhyming words. They sound the same. Bruno was getting smaller by the second. I could see him shrinking. Now his clothes seemed to be disappearing and brown fur was growing all over his body. Suddenly he had a tail, and then he had whiskers, and now he had 4 feet. It was all happening so quickly. It was a matter of seconds only, and all at once he wasn't there anymore. See him shrinking in the pictures. A small brown mouse was running around on the tabletop. "Bravo!" yelled the audience. "She's done it! It works! It's fantastic! It's colossal! It's the greatest yet! You're a miracle, old brainy one!" They were all standing up and clapping and cheering, and the Grand High Witch produced a mouse trap from the folds of her dress and started to set it. "Oh no," I thought, "I don't want to see this. Bruno Jenkins may have been a bit of a stinker, but I'm dashed if I want to watch him have his head chopped off." "Where is he?" snapped the Grand High Witch, searching the platform. "Where has that mouse got to?" She couldn't find him. Clever Bruno must have jumped down off the table and ran off into some corner or even down a small hole. Thank heavens for that. "It matters not," shouted the Grand High Witch. "Silence and sit down." And that is the end of the chapter. The next chapter is called The Ancient Ones, and we shall read that. You're reading this Monday, so we read that tomorrow. Okay, bye guys.